Simple bill.
All right, very simple bill. This is 744. And while possibly it would be easier to follow if it were in a substitute form, I would drop the purpose of the bill is to give flexibility to the sentencing judge when a juvenile has been convicted of an adult crime. And the flexibility that currently does not exist, the judge can suspend, the judge can sentence as an adult. The judge can, if it's a nonviolent crime, sentence as a juvenile. What the judge cannot do is deal with a mandatory minimum sentence, and it must be imposed. And what this bill does is give the judge the same discretion when it comes to mandatory minimum sentences. It allows them to impose it or not, or any part thereof in the total sentencing picture. And then the language at the bottom of the bill just guides guides adult court judges in full consideration of the juvenile's circumstances in imposing the adult sentence, the same kind of guidance that would have been used in if should it have been in a juvenile court.
Let me ask you, do you need that last part, lines 55 through 58, is that really necessary? I mean, judges, I think, know these things.
It was reflective, though, of how far we have come in the recognition of the considerations that a juvenile may be facing, and that was why it was put in. It's granted there are a number of judges who do know it. This is just giving that guidance in sentencing for all sides to realize the judge's decisions.
You want that in there, is that right?
I think it adds to the context of our law.
Okay. Anybody want to speak in favor of the bill? Yeah, come on up. Step right up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. James Dold, representing Human Rights for Kids. Just want to thank Delegate Watts for bringing this bill. It's a really important piece of legislation. And to your question, Mr. Chairman, I just want to highlight that several studies have shown that when it comes to adverse childhood experiences and early childhood trauma, that there's a direct connection and link now between children's exposure to that and their in delinquent or criminal behavior. Matter of fact, a DOJ study that came out in 2012 showed that about 90% of children in the juvenile justice system have experienced at least 2 adverse childhood experiences, and roughly 30% of boys and 45% of girls have experienced 5. Particularly with girls, there's something that we call now the child sex abuse to prison pipeline, where there's a direct link between girls who have been sexually abused and their later involvement in criminal behavior. And so in terms of the judge specifically considering those factors, it's a really important component of this bill. We think will give judges a greater sense of what's going on in a child's life, what led them astray, and as they determine whether or not to depart from a mandatory minimum sentence, whether that's appropriate. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd go and close my testimony and just say it's a really important bill, protects the human rights of children in the justice system, and we would urge the committee's support. Thank you.
Okay, next, you support the bill.
Mr. Chair, Amy Willard, Legal Aid Justice Center. We do support the bill. I would just say we represent these kids in serious offender review hearings, and there are a lot of times the judge is ready to release them from their blended sentence and feel like they can't because of these mandatory minimums. So I think this will actually alleviate some judges' concerns as well.
Okay, thanks. Prosecutor?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Nathan Green, Commonwealth Attorney for the City of Williamsburg, speaking on behalf of the Virginia Association of Commonwealth Attorneys. We did discuss this bill at length, and the prosecutors do support this bill as well.
Okay, is there a motion? Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that the bill be reported and referred to finance. All in favor of the motion say aye, vote aye. All opposed vote no.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.